Hi guys, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the spot heal tool to erase blemishes and wrinkles in a photo. So this is a good starter project because it doesn't require that you have any familiarity with Photoshop at all. What I've done is I've created a Photoshop document that already includes the images, and so you don't have to set up the canvas, you don't have to know how to insert the image. It's all ready for you to go. Okay, so first I'm going to familiarize you with the setup. So over here on the left, you're going to see down here I've got my layers panel. I'm going to try to expand that so you can see a little bit more clearly. So in our layers panel, I have two image layers. You're going to see that the one on the bottom is locked, the one on the top is unlocked. The reason for this is I'm going to be editing on the top layer, and if I turn it on and off with my visibility icon, I'll be able to see my edits. So you don't see anything happening right now when I turn visibility on and off because I haven't made any edits yet. But if I go over here, I've got my toolbar. So I'm going to be using specifically my my spot heal, which is going to look like a little band-aid with a dotted line in a kind of a circle shape to the left of it. So here is my spot heal tool. If you're not sure where a tool is, you can either hover over it and you're going to get a little pop-up that's going to have the name of that tool, and you can see a little bit more information about it. There's also the chance that the tool might be underneath another tool. So when we look at a tool in the toolbar, there's usually going to be a little tiny little arrow to the bottom right of the icon, and that means that this is a stack of tools. So if I right click, it's going to open up that stack, and I'm going to see that there's multiple tools in that stack. So for example, in my paintbrush, I can right click and underneath it is the pencil tool, color replacement tool, and mixer brush tool. So if you ever are looking for a tool and you've gone up and down the toolbar and you just can't find it, start checking underneath other tools that have a similar function. So for example, your selection tools are generally going to be stacked with other selection tools. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my little spot heal tool. Now, I want to start I'm going to start erasing some blemishes, but I can't see very well. My canvas is a little bit too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that shortcut that we've learned. So I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to hold down Control and plus. I'm going to hold down Control and type plus on my keyboard. So that's one of our foundational shortcuts to zoom in. It works in every program, even say Google Docs. Okay, so now I've zoomed in and I can see a little bit more clearly. Another shortcut I'm going to use is to move around my canvas. I'm going to hold down my space bar. Now notice I have a little hand that shows up, and if I hold down my space bar and I click and drag, I'm now navigating around my canvas. So let's go for say like a freckle or something. Let's go for this little one right here. So first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the size of my brush for this tool is appropriate to the size of the blemish that I'm trying to erase. So if this is too large, it's going to overdo the job. If it's too small, it's not going to do a good enough job. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I'm going to select a nearby area. Okay, and it says the spot healing brush tool automatically samples pixels to correct a spot with one step. To manually set the source, use the healing brush tool. Okay, all right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and click, and that blemish has disappeared. Click, blemish has disappeared. Click, blemish has disappeared. Okay, so notice that it's practically invisible. So now I'm going to try going for, let's see, I'm going to show you what it looks like if I were to go overboard. So let's undo a couple of those freckles. And now I'm going to use another shortcut. So I'm going to use right bracket. So if you go to your keyboard and you look for the right and left bracket, I can click right bracket and my brush is going to get larger. Left bracket, it's going to get smaller. The other option for resizing your brush is if you go up here to your tool properties, I can click this little drop down. So this circle here represents your brush. If I click on the drop down arrow, I can change the size, and you'll see the number gets smaller or larger. I can change the hardness or softness. So that means if I go with 100% hardness, it's a really harsh circle. If I go with 0% hardness, I've got more of an airbrushed effect. So I'm not going to worry about this too much with this tool. I'll just leave it 100%. Okay, so if I make the brush too large and I'm trying to erase this blemish here, if I click, notice that what's happened is I've sort of pulled this wrinkled area into where the blemish was, and now I've created a problem where there was not a problem. So I'm going to click again, and I've just moved the wrinkles over a little bit to the left. This is not a good solution. Now it looks like her under eye area is sort of drooping. So lesson here is don't make your brush any larger than it absolutely has to be. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start removing some of my blemishes. This is also going to work for wrinkles. So if I say go to this upper lip area, if I click and drag, notice that it looks like I'm painting, but it's also semi-transparent. If I let go, notice that that wrinkle is disappearing. And I'm going to turn my visibility on and off so that you can see the difference. Now this is where you can really start to see the effect of your work. So I'm going to turn that little eyeball icon on and off, and this is the original, and this is the edit. Original, edit. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep working around your photo, create as much change as you can. Now we still want her to look like a real person. We don't want her to look like an alien. So take that into consideration as you're working. You know, she is still an elderly person. So do what you can without totally making her look unrealistic. All right, so good luck, and I can't wait to see how your work turns out.